What is up, people? Welcome back to Blue Chip Prospect for another scouting report. Today we are taking a deeper dive into the one and only Macklin Celebrini. We're going to take a look at why he is so good and why he is the uncontested first overall projection in the 2024 NHL Draft. By the way, I launched my website last week. It's not completely done yet, but I thought I would launch it anyway, so if any of you guys is interested, you can go take a look. It's been challenging, to say the least, to find time to build it and write scouting reports, but it's only going to get better and more packed with stuff. Anyways, if you want to go take a look, the website is thebluechipprospect.com. Obviously, I wanted Blue Chip Prospect, but it was over $1,000, so I thought, meh, who really cares, right? So anyways, enough chit-chatting and self-promoting. Let's get this thing started right away. Alright, so Macklin is an average size left shooting center standing at 6 foot and weighs in at 190 pounds. By the way, I've been saying weights in for years, and my wife, who's the anglophone one in the family, just told me that it's actually weighs in with no T's. Better late than never, but geez, it's been years. Anyway, Celebrini is still 17 years old, being a June birthday, which makes the whole thing even more impressive. In terms of ranking, I don't think there's a single outlet or website who doesn't have him at number 1. If we had to compare him to the last decade of first overall pick, I'd say he's somewhere in the middle. Definitely under Bedard, Matthews, and McJesus, but definitely above Powers, Slavkovsky, Lafreniere, and Ekblad. Somewhere between Ischier and Jack Hughes seems appropriate, so in the end, it's gonna be a hell of a player who will change a franchise. When it comes to stats, he has 48 points in 30 games, and he's almost a goal per game in the NCAA with 26 goals. That's no easy feat. This is good for third overall in the last 25 years, behind only Fantilli and Eichel, but in terms of goal scoring, he's actually first in goals per game if we stay in this millennial, followed very closely by Fantilli. He's also a volume shooter with 141 shots in 30 games and a very decent face-off guy with 52.1% in the circle, which looks very good for the future. In this draft -1 season, he had 86 points and 46 goals in 50 games in the USHL. To put that into perspective, he only trails Matthews, Jack Hughes, and Eichel, who were all US NTDP players in their draft -1. He's way above players like Matthew Tkachuk, Fantilli, and Andrei Svechnikov, so overall the stats very much support the eye test and even more. This strength and weaknesses card, or grade card, or whatever you want to call it, was probably the easiest one to create since I've been doing them, even before I started making videos. It's funny that a player I had a very similar feeling for is the player that's going to come back quite often in this video. I had basically the same grade card at the time for Tim Stützle in his draft year, but his skating and shot grades were inverted if I remember well. But overall, he's high-end in everything with an elite shot. I wouldn't argue with anyone grading his skating and hockey sense half a step down, but to me, when he's on, he's the most creative player on the ice, and that is with a player like Lane Hudson on the blue line, and he's also always have that extra gear whenever it's needed, so to me, it's high-end all the way. Skating is a major asset for Celebrini, and it's not just the speed but also the way he uses it to create space and catch defenders off guard. First, he has a beautiful stride with fluid, quick, and compact crossovers. He also has a powerful forward stride using the whole length of his leg. He recovers his extension with his skate right under his hips with minimal wasted motion, and has a deep knee bend ready to explode at any moment. Honestly, I wouldn't expect anything less than a close to perfect stride and powerful legs coming from him, considering his father is the director of sports science for the Golden State Warrior. I'd be surprised if his father didn't go deep into his analysis of a perfect stride and work on it with him from a young age. And with that type of notoriety, you kind of just listen and apply whatever he says, right? So what I like with Celebrini's skating is that it's very controlled. It's not just blasting off on the wing with the puck on his backhand and power move his way to the net. In the neutral zone, he uses all kinds of quick changes in speed and direction with his crossover to push defenders back. He's very unpredictable, using his misdirections and fakes to create separation, and once he has separation, you're not catching him. He's not only creative as a playmaker, he's also creative as a skater. Defenders never really have a clue where he's going and what he's doing, which really helps him keep space between him and them. But if we come back to the raw power, the speed, and the explosion, he's got it all. I wouldn't say he's a Jack Hughes Hughes level skater, because not many are, to be honest, but outside of his creativity, he also has all the tools to explode and be the first on puck, or explode and beat defenders wide, or separate from coverage to make plays, jump into gaps in coverage before it closes down, win races with and without the puck, apply pressure on the forecheck, back check, and prevent odd numbers plays against. You know, all the good stuff that incredible skating can do for you. So in the end, Celebrini, it's not just about the tool itself, but more how he incorporates it into his game that is a difference maker. It's what helps him get free and do what he does best, which is create offense. And by the way, if you enjoy the content and you come back for it, please take the time to like and subscribe. It really helps me and the channel grow and reach more hockey fans who would also like to hear me babble about their favorite prospect. So please like and subscribe. Thanks. What's really good about Celebrini's hockey sense is that it's equally good both ways. Okay, that might be a slight exaggeration considering how good he is at making plays offensively, but defensively, he's really good at anticipating plays and jumping into space to catch passes. He really understood that by playing well defensively and being sneaky good at intercepting passes, he gets to create easy offense on the rush by catching teams off guard, and he really exploits that part of his game. He's smart and always at the right place defensively, which is more than enough for a guy of that age. I wouldn't say he's an Owen Beck or Nate Danielson defensively, but he's also so much more that it really doesn't matter. Offensively, it's basically the same thing but the other way around. He anticipates plays and places himself well on the ice. He's always an easy target for his teammates, but also gives them enough space for them to do their thing. He doesn't overcrowd them, if you will. A thing many good goal scorers have is that capacity to recognize space and gaps in coverage without standing in it, but waiting for the right time to jump in it and create an open look on net. Celebrini has that and much more. I would say that overall the way he sees the game and his decision making are both really good defensively as well as offensively. He rarely makes a mistake or tries to force plays that aren't there. He always takes snappy decisions even under pressure. He's not fazed by anything. He's just very calm and collected with the puck. Even if he loves to have the puck on his stick, he's just as good without it, often just gliding to be forgotten just to appear at the last moment. Even defensively, he does the same. He hides in the back of players just to pop in their vision at the last second and stick lift to get the puck back. There's not many players in the draft that I saw that has such a high level awareness and problem solving. Maybe like Catton or maybe Perek, I don't know, but in the end, he's very close to or at the top. If you watch my Berkeley Catton video, this is pretty much a repeat of it, but with maybe a little bit more flash, but no unnecessary flash, at least not too often. I would say that his StickHandling is more a tool that he uses in conjunction with his skating to make player miss on his intentions. Even if he does sometimes attack players directly a la demi-dove and try to get to the net by himself, he's often more reserved. I'm not sure reserve is the right word because he's not scared to use his puck handling, but let's say that he will evaluate other options. But if he has the puck on his stick, you're most likely not gonna touch it. He has quick and smooth hands and all the moves to make you miss. One thing I really look for to evaluate players' puck skills is their ability to receive pucks on the move and their ability to quickly make a play with a less than perfect puck. Whether it's a shot or a pass doesn't really matter to me. It's more about understanding what a player can do with no time and no space. Beating players one-on-one is a good thing and it's useful, but sending misdirections and corralling bad pucks while skating full speed or redirecting bad pucks with a quick 1-2 touch pass is more projectable to what a player can do in traffic in the NHL, and Celebrini is an expert at creating space on reception. Not only can catch all the pucks, he always finds the perfect way to gain some space and some time on reception to make something with it. The way he can receive a puck while redirecting it just a little out of reach of a closing player is phenomenal in my opinion. Like I said with Catton before, he can catch any pucks away from stick. Celebrini brings that up a notch by sending the puck between players' legs to catch it on the other side. Maybe it's a bit exaggerated how much emphasis I put on a player's ability to receive pucks, but it's such a play breaker skill in the NHL. If you watch any NHL games, how many good to great chances are missed every night because a player couldn't corral the puck? It's going to happen to even the best of them, but if you're just 10% better than the next player, that's at least a couple plays a week you could make something happen with a bad puck. If you add to that puck reception skill the awareness and the hockey sense to get into great position, then it's multiple plays per night you can make that others just couldn't. It's one of the multiple reasons why I still have Catton and Yzerman so high. They're both master at that skill, and Celebrini just bring that up a little notch over that. One of the reasons why Celebrini kind of make me think of Stützle is competitiveness while being just average in size. They are both packed with skills and great skating, and just like Stützle in his draft year, he competes really hard on loose puck and uses his speed to track back on players. He's also basically always first on puck if there's a slight chance for him to win the race. He looks sneaky strong for a guy of his size. I saw him splooch players on the board trying to break out the puck, even with significant size difference. Not hit the player just to hit him, but really just to stop him in his track and push the puck to a teammate. Defensively, he works just as hard and does whatever is asked of him. He forechecks with intent and use fakes and quick step to trap players. He will also back check, applying back pressure, sending the players into defenders. He will go back deep into his zone to support the defense and the breakout. He's just not a cheater whatsoever. Other than that, I wouldn't say he's constantly attacking the middle of the ice in the offensive zone, but he's also not a perimeter player. I would like to see him bring the puck to the slot a little more. Like, I don't expect him to play like Lindstrom and constantly post himself in the crease, but just making a little more plays in the middle or from the middle. Anyhow, he's the type of player that plays and competes hard on 200 foot, and when he's locked in, he completely dictates the game and the pace of the game. He just becomes unstoppable, first on every puck, and drive plays all over the ice. At first glance, with more goals than assists, you'd think he's more of a goal scorer than a playmaker, but that would be false in my opinion. He is an incredibly skilled passer and playmaker. He's just good at doing both, scoring goals and setting up plays. His passing skills are off the chart. He can drop the puck on tape from anywhere, in motion or not, with ease. He has that skill to send saucer passes with just the right amount of lift and weight on it. When you see those passes at live speed, it's one thing, it's impressive, but when you see the replays and you see the puck with barely any wobble on it, landing just right every single time, it's kind of amazing. He also seems to have some serious velocity on his saucer, which makes it even harder to bat down. Then there's also the fact that there's basically no obstacle he can't get the puck through. Some players are good passer from a standstill with some space, like on the power play, and some others are good at taking advantage of their speed and agility and the disorganization on the rush to create plays. Celebrini excels at both. If given time and space, there's just basically nothing he can do. He uses his body, his skating, and his handling to fake out the defense and create open lanes. He's especially adept at creating lanes for backdoor tap-ins. If you pair a guy who can finish in close with him, you'll send it on tape uncontested for easy tap-ins night after night. On the other hand, on the rush, he uses all kinds of quick cuts and change of direction to attract players on him. He's fearless in the way he carries the puck with confidence and gets into traffic with it to create pockets of space for his line mates when defenders are caught puck watching and lose track of their assignment, or when they're double covering him. All in all, just a very skillful and smart playmaker with great vision and anticipation who can use every tool in his toolbox to make things happen. What's impressive with Celebrini is that his playmaking is really just half of what he can do in the offensive zone. His shot is at least as good as his passing and probably even better, which is kind of impressive if you ask me. First, his shooting mechanic in motion is just textbook, less of a whipping motion and more of a traditional push-pull weight transfer with hands away from the body kind of shot. His shot has some serious velocity on it and with a very compact release. Once again, he's handling the puck or receiving the puck, and the next it's gone with power. He needs no space and no time. He's very good at shooting in tight using the defenders as a screen, and if the velocity of his shot, the quick release, the precision, and the screen wasn't enough, he's an expert at hiding his intentions, and his passing has to be respected. So a pretty lethal combination, and all this while in motion and keeping his feet moving. On the power play, he has a devastating one-timer, he gets into position and release a cannon of a shot, and he also has that ability to transform his one-timer into a hard shot pass from time to time, creating a very high danger chance for his teammates. Another aspect of his shot that makes it as good as it is the precision with which he can shoot the puck. He can shoot the puck and score from very tight angles and isn't scared to try those shots. He also has a sneaky good backhands. I don't think I have read or seen anyone talking about it, but it's definitely an underrated part of his overall skill set. He can catch the puck on his backhand and release it in one motion with accuracy and more power than you would ever expect from a backhand. So overall, just like the rest of his tools, he has different elements within the same skill set he can use to get the most out of it. In the end, what's really impressive with Celebrini is that every skill is a standout skill. Nothing is just average or a little bit over average. Everything projects as high end and more. I think it's no surprise if I see that my NHL player comparison is Tim Stützle. I don't think they're exactly the same, but a very similar skill set in my opinion. I do expect Celebrini to become a more complete version with more two-way value and better leadership qualities. I thought of a player like Jack Hughes also in terms of offensive output, but Hughes is probably a bit too much of a dynamic player, and I'm not sure Celebrini's offensive qualities are exactly on that level. Now that I'm recording this, I'm realizing that my endeavor to make my videos shorter didn't really work out as expected, like at all. It is what it is. Anyway, now obviously I have him first in the draft, and at this point it's pretty much a lock. But to make things a little bit more interesting, I'd have him right up there with Fantilli, Mishkov, and Carson in the last year's draft. And even though he doesn't have the size of both Fantilli and Carson and doesn't have the offensive hockey brain of Mishkov, I think he's a bit like the perfect in-between who combines skills from all of them. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. See you in the next one. Peace.